Portland Trailblazers had Dalton Connect in yesterday for a pre-draft workout. That is the name that we do know. All signs kind of seem to agents starting to clamp down on what prospects will be available to the media and be made public by NBA teams, which is a weird move because I think it excites a fan base, it helps a prospect, and kind of drives up, momentum if fans know which players are going to respective teams for a pre-draft workout, because that kind of gives you a range of where some guys will be, right?
Yeah, and that's part of this whole deal is that I alluded to this yesterday that there was a little bit of a scuttlebutt about agents, and there's a couple agencies in particular that are driving this because there's so much uncertainty in this draft that they're trying to manipulate, and this happens every year. It's just being taken to another level right now. Trying to hide as much information, obfuscate as much information as humanly possible to try to get their clients to go to better positions or to move them up draft boards. And then you have some players from those agencies that are also still making public appearances. But I'll just say this. The Blazers have worked out players privately, and that's something that I'm not going to get into right now, but that's also not something new.
No.
Like, they've had players come in privately, and this happens regularly. Not all workouts are always open. I remember a couple of years ago, I went to go watch what was supposed to be a public workout, and I got to the facility, and Blazers PR had to stop and be like, look, I'm sorry. The agent said, no, they're changing their mind, and the organization just had to kind of go with it because you're at the whim of the agent. That's kind of what's happening. So Jonathan Wasserman tweeted out that he's heard noise of a group coming in on Tuesday, and I've heard exactly the same. For those of that were out there that were like, why haven't the Blazers worked out anybody? This is one of the groups that I heard was coming through. I knew that Dalton Connect was coming through. The Blazers worked out a couple guys yesterday, or another guy besides Dalton yesterday, and another guy today. And then I heard that this big group was possibly coming through. The interesting thing about this big group is it is a mixture of agencies.
Okay, in Jonathan Washman, Bleacher Report, at NBA Draft Was on Twitter, Ron Holland, Tidjane Salaun, Ryan Dunn, Zach Edey, Yves Missy, and then Keyshawn George, all supposed to be in attendance in Portland for one workout next week. And those are all guys that are in that range. Well, some guys well above 7, but that 7 to 14 range, every single one of those guys have been in mock drafts percolating around Portland. Most of those names we've seen at 7 or 14 in mock drafts because hell, we've seen about 14 prospects be projected to Portland at 7 and 14.
If you take a look at that group, there's one name that really stands out to me. It's Tidjane Salaun.
Yes,
he's a guy that I've been kind of championing, and so to speak, since probably November, December. He's flying up the boards, and he's firmly a lottery prospect now. He was a couple weeks ago 10 to 20. I'd say he's anywhere from 4 to 12,
and he's
4
been
to 14.
mocked as high as 5 right now.
Yeah. So, and that's the fact that you're starting to see changes at 5 with Detroit. I think that's you're finally starting to get the Trajan Langdon effect of like, maybe we're not going for Modest Buzelis. So you've seen Tidjane Salaun mock there. Just today, Dalton Connect was mocked to Detroit. Like, you're starting to see guys pop up just number 5, but changes at number 3. One of the few that hasn't changed a ton is Steph Castle to Charlotte. But I've also heard that they're really interested in Reed Shepherd. I've heard the Chicago Bulls are interested in moving up, whether it's for a Modest Buzelis or a Donovan Clingan. There has been, it's smokescreen season. So there's a lot that's out there. So for the Blazers to be able to get a workout group like this in would be pretty impressive. I've heard that they're hoping that it'll be open. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be closed, which is unfortunate because I would love to talk to this group, especially Salaun, because he's overseas. I've never had a chance to talk to him. But also you have Edey in here. You have another interesting prospect in Keyshawn George, who's a 6'8" kind of wingy guard who he's not a bursty athlete, but he shows some shooting potential. Ryan Dunn is the best defensive prospect in this class. He can't play offense, but my God, is he a defensive genius.
He's
Missy,
a Virginia guy.
Yeah, Missy is a 6'10" crazy athlete with size. You think Clint Capella, like that kind of player as a high level lob, rim running finisher, shot blocker, rebounder type. Very simple, but like the floor for him is probably like Ed Davis. I think he's going to be a really solid pro in the league. And then you've got Ron Holland, who the Ignite guys sounds like they're having a tough time. It sounds like they're having a tough time in the workout process and in the Intel process. The Ignite is just.
They didn't set them up for success?
They didn't. They
no way.
Really didn't. Not only did they get the crap kicked out of them, they had too many kids on that roster, and you had too many guys fighting for too small a piece of pie, and it didn't allow anyone to be optimized. Last year, when Scoot was there, it wasn't great, but it still made more sense. Like, there was more vets. They ended up having, 7 guys that were under the age of 20, basically. And with that, you just had
all of them looking out for themselves,
which is what you're supposed to do. Like, that's when you're going to the next, when you're in the G League, especially, look, you're trying to win, but you're also trying to show what I can do. That's what you're trying to do there. And so it wasn't a conducive environment for anybody at all.
Especially for development, which is the whole idea of the G League Ignite, is to take these guys who formerly would have been one-and-done type players and then develop them in that 1 year.
Holland should have gone to Texas.
For NBA. He should have gone to Texas.
He should have gone to Texas and just figured that out. But
now the 3x3 workout is interesting, though, because the way that they're kind of setting it up, too, is you can have those matchups where, all right, you want to see
this is
Zach Edey, and if he can move, we're going to put him up against a guy like Missy,
Yep.
right? You want to have Holland and Salaun go head-to-head? All right, let's see kind of how they operate against one another. When you have Dunn and George, but I think those 4, you can kind of
it's kind of
interchange any of the 4 of them together, but you're going to kind of see a little bit of competitiveness. You're going to see
it's a room full of dudes, like dogs. Like that's what that is. That room that's an all effort room.
Yeah.
Like that's like if you ask me like whose workout would you want to watch? Like, would you rather watch a solo workout or this? Give me this. Like, even then, like it's not gonna get crazy, but this is gonna be a workout. And the fact that they are able to orchestrate this and put this together, I've seen workout groups before that were pretty decent. This is these guys are all fighting for the same spot with the exception of Dunn. Like, every one of these guys is fighting for, like, the guy they're going up against is someone who very likely could be drafted in their slot.
But then you bring in a guy like Dunn
who's
and you're
hungry.
Like, go prove it. I like it. That's an interesting little nugget. And again, Jonathan Wasserman, Bleacher Report, NBA Draft Was on Twitter has this. That workout would be a really fun one to watch. And then you can also say, if we have Dalton Connect off the board, we have now, if these guys are all coming in together, Holland, Salaun, Edey, Missy, kind of all in there. You can go through the deductive process of, all right, if you're not going to get Reza Shea in or Alex Sarr in, you can kind of go through and say, all right, who have been the guys who've come through over the last couple of days?
And they've had other guys in privately. So a lot of guys.
The workouts in.
Yeah, a lot of guys are coming through town. That's why I told everybody, just chill with the Blazers haven't had anybody come through. It's like, guys, it's okay.
We are 20 days away from the NBA draft.
We are less than 3 weeks away, of which we'll have a little bit of news on where we'll be that night coming up.
Hey, all right.
That'll be fun.
All right.
A little on-location action.
Yeah, a little on-location action, which is what we all like. We can have all the P1s out.